Imagine yourself waking up tied to a deadly machine that will kill you if you don't sacrifice some part of your body. What do you do? Would you give your best to beat it, or would you give up immediately? Welcome back, guys. It's Motion Recaps again, and today we're going to be covering the 2021 horror mystery, Spiral, from the Book of Saw. During the night of 4th of July, Detective Marv Boswick chases a thief down a sewer drainage pipe. Suddenly, he gets attacked by a figure wearing a pig mask. Boswick awakens to find himself with a device on his tongue in an active subway tunnel, and he's given a choice via a recorded message. Tear out your tongue and live, or remain until the next train arrives. Unable to escape the trap in time, Boswick is hit by the train and killed. The next day, Police Captain Captain Garza assigns Detective Zeke Banks a new partner, a rookie, William Schenk. Soon, messages from the killer begin to arrive in which he tells them that more police officers will die. Now, before I continue on giving you the recap here, please take a moment right now and consider subscribing to this channel, liking this video if you're enjoying this recap, and on top of that, hit that bell icon so you're notified immediately once we have another recap ready for you to enjoy. Now with that said, let's get on with our recap. Here's Spiral from the Book of Saw. The movie begins with a 4th of July parade. Off-duty Detective Marv Boswick is enjoying the night when he sees a suspicious man stealing a purse from a woman. Boswick follows the thief and he ends up in the sewers. He carefully investigates around, and soon he sees the thief sitting in a chair. However, Boswick finds out that it's just a doll, and out of nowhere, a masked person shows up behind him. Boswick wakes up all tied up. His tongue is tightly attached to a weird device. His hands are tied with barbed wire. A TV in front of him turns on, and the masked person who attacks him tells Boswick that he's going to play a game. The masked person then explains that Boswick is a corrupt cop who lied a lot in the courthouse during trials. Now he has to choose between his life and his lying tongue. The kidnapper informs him that a train is coming soon, so he will need to act quickly. Boswick frees his hand, and then he tries to take off the device from his tongue. He hears the train approaching, and he hurries up. However, he realizes he doesn't have enough time. He jumps, but at that moment, the train hits him. Next, we meet Zeke Banks, our protagonist. He's with his pals, and they rob a drug dealer. After they finish, the group gets into the elevator and then into their car. However, the police show up and we find out that Zeke is an undercover detective. At the station, Captain Angie scolds Zeke for going alone and acting recklessly. Zeke tells her that he had to, because there's no one that he could trust at the police station. He thinks everyone will stab him in his back. Angie then informs Zeke that he will have a new partner, and she introduces him to the new detective, William. Zeke is not happy with Angie's decision. Zeke goes to his desk with William, and he finds a dead rat on his table. His colleagues like to mess with him because Zeke is a good police officer. William chats with Zeke, and we find out that Zeke's dad is a former police chief. Angie shows up, and she tells Zeke and William that the train hit some homeless guy, and they need to check it out. The partners go to Zeke's car and head to the crime scene. On their way, the two of them talk about their family. Zeke will soon be divorced, and he has a son, while William has a wife and a son named Chris, whose name he has tattooed on his arm. They arrive at the crime scene, and they find the victim in a state similar to a pile of Lego bricks, if they were made of meat. Zeke looks around, and he sees that the guy was not homeless because he was wearing a wedding ring and a Fitbit. The duo get back to the police station, and the police officer brings a package to Zeke. There's no information on it, and no one knows who sent it. In it, Zeke finds a USB, and when he plays it, he sees a spiral painted on the wall. The voice behind the camera tells Zeke that he has a plan of cleansing the police from corrupted members. A detective named Fitch tells Zeke that they may have business with a Jigsaw copycat. If you've not watched any of the previous Saw movies, Jigsaw is the main villain in them. He kidnaps people and then forces them to play deadly games. Zeke recognizes a place from the video. It's a courthouse. He goes there with William, while Fitch and the other detective named Kraus follow them. Zeke finds a package with a human tongue on it, and Boswick's badge is pinned to it. Back at the police station, Zeke finds out that the badge belonged to Boswick, who was his good friend. Zeke asks Angie if he could lead the investigation, and she grants him that wish. Zeke tries to give orders to others, but no one listens to him because they dislike how good he is. However, Angie interferes and she orders everyone to listen. Zeke then goes to Boswick's home to pay his respects. After a short and friendly questioning of Boswick's wife, Zeke heads back home. There, he finds his father Marcus, who immediately begins to criticize him for his behavior. They argue, and then Marcus tells Zeke that he'll help him with the investigation, and they agree to have dinner together and talk about the recent murder. That night, Zeke and the others are trying to figure out who's behind the killings. Zeke gives his phone to William to contact forensics. Angie then tells him about 2 city cameras that are broken. Fitch and Krause go to check them out, and on one of them they find footage of Boswick following a thief. They recognize the thief. His name is Benny. Fitch tells Krause to go check on the dealer who worked with Benny, while he goes to find Benny in a building in which he usually stays. The 2 detectives decide to keep everything from Zeke. Suddenly, we see Marcus getting out of his car. He takes out his gun and he enters an old building. Fitch goes to check a place where Benny used to sleep, and the masked person knocks him unconscious. He wakes up in a pool with a weird helmet on his head. His fingers are attached to a machine in front of him. The masked person appears on TV, and he tells Fitch that he was a really corrupt detective and that he needs to pay for it. Then the person explains that the pool is slowly getting filled with water, and when the water reaches a certain level, it will come into contact with an electrified copper wire. The only way for Fitch to escape is to let the machine rip off his finger. That way, the water will stop. Fitch first tries to take his helmet off, but he finds out that he can't. He lets the machine rip off his fingers slowly and painfully. He screams in pain while his fingers are being ripped. However, the machine doesn't deactivate, and the water reaches the wire. Fitch dies. Zeke arrives in front of his father's apartment, and he sees a delivery guy there. Zeke takes the order, and he goes into the apartment, only to find out that his dad is not there. The next time, Zeke arrives at work, only to find out that he's gotten another package. There it is again, a USB inside. Everyone gathers around him. He plays the video, and he sees a car under a bridge. There's a spiral drawn on it, and the voice speaks to Zeke. It tells him that he gave a choice to a victim, and that the victim declined. The person says that he has a bone to pick with the police department, and until they come clean, many more will die. Angie recognizes the place from the footage, and everyone goes there immediately. There they find the rotten body of a pig in the car, and another package. They open it, and in there they find Fitch's fingers and his badge. Zeke has a flashback to when he was a young police officer. He chased an armed guy, and he asked for backup. Fitch was the closest to him, and he ignored Zeke's request. Zeke was then shot. When Maurice found out that Fitch ignored the call for backup, he punched the life out of him. Zeke and the others find the place where Fitch's body is. There, Detective Krause tells them everything she did with Fitch last night. She then gives Zeke an address of Benny's dealer. Zeke goes there with William, and they pay a visit to the dealer. Zeke tackles him to the ground, and he breaks the dealer's leg. He asks if he saw Benny, but the dealer refuses to talk with him. Zeke then pours alcohol on the dealer's broken leg. The dealer reveals that he didn't see Benny for quite some time, and that there's word on the streets that he overdosed. Zeke and William go on a lunch break. While they eat, they talk about the case, and they're trying to figure out who might be behind it. William asks Zeke if he has a personal enemy, and then we get another flashback. A police officer talking with a guy who witnessed a crime. The police officer asks him if he'll be a witness in court, and when the guy tells him that he will, the police officer kills him. Zeke immediately shows up, and the police officer tells him that he killed the guy in self-defense. However, Zeke figured out that the police officer lied, and he reported him. Back to the present. The duo finds the guy in church. His name is Peter, and he was 9 years in prison because Zeke reported him. He tells Zeke that he's a different man, and that the prison changed him. Zeke asks him where he was on the 4th of July, and Peter reveals that he had a meeting in the church when a drunk guy showed up. He needed to toss him out of the church. Zeke believes his story, and he tells him to take care. Then the duo leaves. The next day at the police station, a delivery guy carrying a package passes by the police officer. The police officer makes a fuss, believing that there may be a bomb in the package, and suddenly everyone gathers around. Zeke slowly opens the package, and in there, he finds a pig marionette with human skin on its torso. There's also a message there with the following text: "While you're looking for more bodies to drop, I'll take your head off." Zeke turns around the marionette, only to find William's tattoo on the skin. His partner is dead. Zeke finds a pack of dye from the shop that he used to visit when he was a kid. However, the shop is now a butcher shop. Zeke and the others hurry there, and when they arrive, they find William's skinned body. At the police station, Angie gets a message from Marcus to find the file for him in the basement. Zeke is in his car. He gets a call for backup because someone attacked a police officer. He immediately goes to check it out, and he finds out that someone just cut the police officer before running away. Zeke figures out that this was only a diversion because the killer wants the bigger prize, the head of the police department, Angie. At that very moment, Angie's in the basement. She sees a doll with a pig mask. Someone closes the door behind her and knocks her out with some sleeping gas. She wakes up, all tied up with a cloth over her head. She finds an audio recorder and plays the tape which is in it. The killer tells her that she was overlooking corruption, and now she needs to pay for that. Then the killer explains that the hot wax will pour on her face, and the only way for her to escape is to push her body on a blade beneath her and cut her spinal cord. She will be unable to walk again, but she will be alive. The hot wax begins to fall on her face. Zeke arrives at the police station, and he asks everyone where Angie is. The one detective tells him that she's in the basement, and Zeke immediately heads down there with another officer. They manage to get in, but it's too late. Zeke removes the wax from Angie's face, only to find out that she's dead. Zeke then goes to check the security cameras, and he finds out that 30 minutes are missing. He tells a police officer to check who had the last access to the security cameras, and Zeke is shocked to find out that it was Peter. He immediately goes to the church to find him, but there's no trace of him. Zeke heads out, and he gets ambushed. He wakes up, cuffed to a pipe. There's a saw next to it, and Zeke tries to cut his handcuffs with it, but the saw is too dull. Luckily, he sees a bobby pin, and he uses it to free himself. He gets up, and we can see that a tied man is there with him. Zeke removes the bag from the man's face, and it's Peter. An audio recorder is hanging from his neck, and Zeke takes it. He plays the tape, and the killer tells him that he could try to save Pete, the police officer who killed an innocent man, or he can throw away the key. Suddenly, a giant machine starts, and Zeke quickly takes the bobby pin, and he tries to save Peter, but he can't unlock the padlock. Zeke sees that bottles are falling into the machine that blows the air, and he takes cover, as thousands of pieces of glass start flying and cutting Peter badly. Zeke notices a trash bin in front of him, and he finds a key in it. He goes to save Peter, and the pieces of glass are cutting him badly, but it's too late for Peter. The door opens, and Zeke follows the stairs to a room where the killer is waiting. If you thought that William is a killer, give yourself detective points. Zeke is confused when he sees his supposedly dead partner. William reveals to him that he lied about his family, and that he's the son of the innocent man who got killed by Peter. Zeke asks about the skinned body they found, and Williams reveals that it was Benny's body, not his. William tattooed Charlie on Benny's body. He tells Zeke that he has nothing against him. He just wants to kill all the corrupt cops. The spiral is a symbol of change, and he wants to bring that change to the police. Zeke then asks William where his father is, and William tells him that he lured him by texting him from Zeke's phone to meet, and that he captured him. He calms Zeke down by telling him that his father is still alive, and then he asks Zeke to join him. Zeke bluffs, and he accepts. William calls 911, and he tells the operator that he's captured in a building with a crazy guy who has a gun. He fires a few shots in the air and hangs up. Then he gives Zeke a gun as a sign of trust, and he leads him to a room where his father is. William closes the door and sets up a string. Zeke sees his father hanging like some puppet, and William explains to Zeke that he's slowly losing his blood. Zeke points the gun at William, but William tells him that he only has one bullet, and that he could save his father if he shoots at the target above him. William then reveals his motive for capturing Maurice. He was the head of the police department when the police force was the most corrupt. Maurice tells him that he did all those bad things only to keep citizens safe. The special forces are getting into the building. Time is running out, and Zeke shoots the target. Maurice gets to the ground. Zeke then attacks William, and they begin to fight. The special forces are cutting down the doors. They cut the string that William has placed, and they rush inside, pointing their rifles at Maurice. Zeke tries to stop them, but they point their rifles at him too. The machine activates, and it pulls Maurice up like a marionette. It moves his hand, which has a double barrel strapped to it, directly at the special forces. They begin firing at Maurice, and the movie ends as Zeke watches William escaping. And that's our recap of the movie Spiral from the Book of Saw. So what did you think about Chris Rock's performance in this movie? Did you like it? Let me know in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you've not yet already done so. Like this video if you enjoyed this recap, and hit that bell icon to be notified of the next time we've got another movie recap ready for you to enjoy. Thanks for watching once again, and we'll see you next time.